Okay, good morning. It's December 22nd. I have a crazy private ride where I got to drive all the way to Houston, pick someone up and drive to McAllen. They'll have a lot of stuff to fill in my car. From here, it is a 500 some odd mile drive total. We have one stop. Well, it's total 357 miles. Sorry, not 500. One stop and 200 miles to charge. Car estimates it should take me about 21 minutes to charge, but no, I'll drop it down smaller, maybe make 2 stops. Sorry. Trying to wake up here. Nice thing about the car doing the driving for me is it doesn't need to wake up. It's already awake. It's ready to go. A little over 6 months on this car, about 6.5 months now. I already have 77,168 miles on it. On the 25th, it'll be exactly 1 month of having the 14.2 builds. So as far as that goes, we have the statistics here on the Autopilot. I have driven 12,457.6 miles total since the 14.2 came out. 12,417.4 of that is all the car. So that's about 40... Yeah, that's about 40 miles. 40.2 miles is all that I've actually driven. The car has done the rest. I do drive a lot more than most people. I do see issues every now and then, but they're all navigation issues. As far as the car itself, I've had no safety issues. Navigation issues like trying to get out of this hotel parking lot. The way they have the lines marked and stuff are a real pain. The heater for the camera keeps the cameras clear. So, the front cameras... Oh, okay, the steering wheel's upside down. Okay. I was trying to hit the camera button. But yeah, the front camera, the rear cameras, they're all clear and ready to go. It's not cold. It's only 73 here. Kind of strange. But we're going to engage here and begin our journey. I'm actually going to turn the apps on really quick. Maybe someone's trying to go to the airport at this hour. Sometimes you might have someone go to the airport, make a little bit of money. But turn on the Lyft app and see. And my friend I'm going to pick up, they asked me to go ahead and try to find someone going to Houston. That way I make money there and back, but it doesn't quite work that well. It's not that easy to find people going from this area to there. You see here, it stayed on the left side of that. Didn't want to cross the red line. The hotel really had fun painting the red lines everywhere, and the cars following those. So we're kicking back this long, boring drive. It's not all interstate. There's a majority of it will be interstate, but at certain points it changes to little towns and stuff, and then back to interstate. We have the border checkpoint again to go through. Oh, interesting. A lot of times whenever I'm going to like the airports or what have you, it wants to turn left here and work the way around Padre Boulevard. But when I'm going to Houston, it wants to turn right. That's, like I said, the navigation is kind of weird. Depending on where you're going, sometimes it does different routes. there's so much in that map data. I don't know why it chooses certain routes differently. But yeah, the nice thing about the Tesla is that it's always fully awake, ready to go. Unlike some of us, we're heading to the office to work or what have you, and we need to wait till we get to the first stop to get coffee. And it's that coffee that we need to wake up, and until we get to our favorite coffee space spot, be it Dutch Brothers, Seven Sisters, Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts coffee, whatever your poison is. Nobody seems to make coffee at home anymore, do they? But yeah, we're not ready until we have that coffee, and we don't make it at home, so we're busy trying to get to the coffee place. And they're driving half asleep trying to get there. Let me see if there's any scheduled rides in the area. On no scheduled rides. Yeah, I don't see any scheduled rides. There we go. Now, for me, the windows are to get in that fog or haze from the outside, the condensation building up on it. I do have the cabin temperature set to the same as the outside temperature, but it's still will build up there. It'll blow off as we go. So quiet out here. Not sure when the next launch is of SpaceX coming up. Probably not until the end of January. They got the new booster ready, I believe, and they're starting testing on that. Used to have, used to stay busy with a lot of private customers, but that's kind of slipped off, A lot of the employees that I used to drive, well, now they have all these cyber trucks they can use. Plus the ones that live on the island, they're taking the hovercraft back and forth. Which, makes it easier for them getting around. And, out of every place I drive all through the valley, yes, some of these neighborhoods I go to, the roads are absolutely terrible, but a lot of times nothing compares to how bad the roads are going to SpaceX. All those heavy trucks with liquid methane, liquid oxygen constantly going down that road does a number on it. sent reservation ride from San Benito to the Valley Airport Tuesday at 4 a.m. Well, no. Tesla insurance. I'm not getting up, driving an hour to San Benito to drive someone and for only $11 at 4 a.m. You know what the crazy thing is? It's so slow down here, it's hard to make any money right now. I do have a reservation ride for Wednesday. I don't know. Wednesday is Christmas Eve. Right? Yeah. 25th is Christmas. I'm always working on holidays, so I don't know. Anyway, like I'm saying, I'm driving to Houston to pick this person up to drive them to McAllen. And I'm probably going to turn right back around. Well, it'll be this afternoon by the time I get back. This was evening. So tomorrow I'll probably wind up driving back to Houston again to drive around to make some money. And, you know, it sounds crazy, but, you know, the entire trip, like I already told you, the mileage, that's about my average day of driving. It's like a little over 500 miles at times. 500 plus miles a day. Just going between the island and McAllen, Brownsville, Harlingen, up and down this area, back and forth. Yeah, I average about 500, miles a day. I mean, I could look at the stats for the safety score here, and we go, well, not monthly, we go daily breakdown. And yesterday I did only 360 miles. And the day before that, I had done 432 miles. Day before that, 357. So yeah, about 300 some odd miles plus a day. 313. So yeah, I'm doing anywhere from 300 to 500 miles a day. That's why I rake up so many miles. I don't buy a car to sit in the driveway to look pretty. I'm utilizing this as my work vehicle. My Model 3 has 360,000 miles on it. It is the original battery, the original motors. The battery's at 70% capacity. I've only put very little mileage on it in the past month. Because I'm always driving the Model 3. I mean the Model Y. I transferred the full self-driving, which is completely paid for on that, over to this car. So if I want to use the FSD on the Model 3, it won't be the 14. We might be getting a 14 Lite in the future. Would be nice. I may redo the subscription on that car and see what that's like when that does come out. It needs some work, but nothing, major. I mean, I need to get a new window regulator for the passenger window, and replace that. Oddly, all the issues I have with it has been from it just sitting and baking in the sun. There's been days when it got to 165 degrees inside that car. The cabin overheat protect, yes, I keep that on, but that only runs for up to 12 hours after you get out of the car, or after you interact with the car. So if I remotely turn on the cabin or the camping mode and then turn it off, then for the next 12 hours the cabin overheat will work. But that's what people don't understand. The cabin overheat is only for 12 hours. So if you get home at 8 o'clock at night and you park your car, the cabin overheat protect is going to work till 8 a.m. So if the car sits there the entire next day, it's not going to kick in during the day there, because the 12 hours have already elapsed. It should be 24 hours, or it should be an option to just leave the cabin overheat protect engaged or active until you're down to 20% battery. So if you leave the car there for a week, you don't have to worry about it getting way too hot in that car while you're gone, baking everything inside it. A lot of people have a carport, garage, what have you, but not everybody has that. My house in Louisiana, I don't have a garage. I don't have a carport. I don't have a cover. The car sits in the driveway next to the house. No trees, no shade, no nothing. In Louisiana, the sun baking down on that. Well, it's kind of strange that I'm in chill mode. We're in a 35, it's doing 47. I don't know what's up with that. It used to do a lot better getting down to speed in chill mode and standard mode. Now it just seems to not really care, and won't slow down in some areas. Now it could be that, okay, it's seeing there's not much around and what have you, but still, if there's an officer sitting out here who's itching to give someone a ticket for their Christmas holiday, Christmas gift to you, yeah, you can wind up getting a ticket easily. So, I don't count, if you want to have absolutely no issues, you can always just keep the car in sloth mode. Just do the speed limit, and you don't have to worry about it. But some people, you want to go a little faster. The traffic around you might want to be faster. But if I am going to say go to sleep, and I don't want to have to worry about getting pulled over for the car speeding, I would have it in sloth mode right now. Until we have it where the chill will actually not, will keep you right there. 3 miles over the speed limit. Standard 5 miles over the speed limit. That's comfortable. Hurry 10 miles over. Where I would not have to worry about it. So, if this was if this was unsupervised, full self-driving, at this stage with the way it operates, I would leave it in chill. And like right now, heading to Houston, I would go to sleep for the next 3 hours till we get to Raphael, Texas to charge. So, it's 5:30 in the morning. Wake up at 8:30 or 8, plug the car in for a few minutes and continue your trip. It's kind of funny, driving people back from the airport last night, I saw at least 12, 13 deer on the side of the road here. They seem to come out of the area there, come to the side of the road. don't know why. They got plenty of open space out there for grazing and stuff, but they, for some reason, like it near the road. Could be because cars are going by, so there's no coyotes to worry about. So anything that might prey on them, they don't have to worry about too much. The same the other morning, seeing a whole bunch of wild boar out here on the side of the road. And I think we counted 8 or 9 of them, just the group of them. And like I said, if this was unsupervised full self-driving, just kick my seat completely back and relax, take a nap while the car drives. I would the only thing that would make me uncomfortable with the idea of sleeping is I know that I have a tendency of tossing and turning. So I wouldn't want to be in the driver's seat. I'd be too afraid of hitting the steering wheel, hitting the brake, hitting the gas when tossing and turning. Now, the way the system is set up, there is probably a way that they can lock that out, that if I do hit the brake, the gas, or the steering wheel, it would not disengage. And it would not, take that input. Because if you notice when the car actually drives, the brake and the accelerator, they both move. So it's not like it's electronically changing those things. The steering wheel itself moves, as we know. So they could just have that motor there overriding, not letting them disengage. And like I was saying about the police, that was an officer there just turning around. He may have gotten somebody and is getting ready to go and light them up in a second. Yeah, he just kicked his lights on, so somebody got a nice early morning ticket on their way to work. It's funny, I've been driving since I was 15 years old. I'm 60, going on 61 soon. Born in 1965. I've been driving since I was 15. Even before just doing this gig stuff, doing network installs, driving everywhere, what have you. I've only had 2 speeding tickets my entire life, and both of them here in Los Fresnos in the past 5 years since I came down here. Both of them while the car is on FSD because it didn't slow down fast enough. Yeah, I mean, it's supervised. I am supposed to be watching it, but these towns like the one in Los Fresnos, they don't care that I was actively slowing down, because it went from a 60 down to a 45, then a 35. They want you to be at 45 at the sign, not after it, not slowing down at it. You need to be at that speed when you get there. And, it's questionable the speed that he clocked. Because, I'm pretty sure I was at that before the sign. But, like I say, it's a speed trap town. They catch you because they know you're probably coming down to the island to vacation. So the odds of you coming back to fight the ticket is slim to none. So most people just wind up paying it remotely, online. latest version of software does a good job slowing down before it gets to the sign, so I don't have to worry about it too much. And of course, when we get another software update, I will not trust it until I watch it 3 times going through that town to make sure it's continuing to do that. Because each software update, you never know what might have gone backwards. So every time a new software update comes out, I'm a little more vigilant in watching it. Right now, I'm more relaxed because on this version, I put thousands of miles on it already. All different conditions, all different areas and places. The only issues I've had were, dumb little navigation issues, and I do mean dumb, but safe. Surprisingly, sometimes the dumb ones I can actually recreate and actually catch on film a second time, if I have time to do it. And I'll tell you right now, there are people that I have picked up and I have dropped off, and I'm thinking, I wish if I was recording what I ran into, like the neighborhood I ran into once, which I'm not joking, there was at least 25 dogs running loose in this neighborhood. All little chihuahuas, big Labradors, you name it, just running around this neighborhood, laying in the middle of the road. The car just zigzagged in and out of them, went up in someone's driveway to get around one dog and back around. I mean, it saw all the dogs, it handled them, it worked around them safely and kindly. The other day, trying to pick someone up, and these dogs just sitting in the road, not wanting to move. They eventually moved, but sometimes the car has to be a little bit more aggressive and just try to nudge its way through the dogs. They should move as long as you're going slow, enough to get them out of the way. Some are very, very stubborn. I even had one neighbor where a cat just came in the middle of the road and literally just sat in the road and stared at my car as I'm sitting there trying to go over this speed bump. And the cat, you can see in the fog how the lights where the car is are not being lit, and once the car leaves, it's gonna re-engage that to the point where it's blinding out in the fog. That's the adaptive headlights. So it's basically the high beams, but they don't blind the other vehicles. Really shows up in the fog. But anyway, I'm still tired, but I'm okay. The car's going to handle it. I'm comfortable with how this handles in the heavy rain and bad weather. It seems to be very safe. I would love to get on a good test track or someplace and see how the FSD handles a slippery road, an icy road. Does the car know how to handle black ice? Can the car detect if it's sliding, if it's slipping? These are things I would love to see. We know how it does in rain and snow. And even when I'm driving on the beach, it seems to do very good. Is it actually adjusting and taking care of and driving a little differently when it detects certain wheels slipping in the sand? I'm not sure. I haven't gotten stuck. There's so many things I would love to be able to test and try. I don't have the time to do it myself because I am always driving. I would love to get into, some of the live chats. I've been invited a few times to hop on to a live stream with somebody, but I'm driving. I don't have time. I can't be on a live stream while I'm driving a customer through Uber and Lyft. Especially around here, with so many people don't speak English. I don't speak Spanish, so it's kind of hard to explain to them. They're like, "Yeah, we're live on the air." Could I hop on and live stream my drive? Yeah, I could probably do that. I got the Starlink dish, maybe run it through and live stream my drive, but then I bunch of deer there on the side of the road in the fog. Not sure if anything showed up on the visualization form. Turn the Uber app off. I don't want to get too many dings of not accepting rides on Uber. I get mad when you do that. It hurts your ratings. Lyft, I don't really care too much about. I don't do that many rides on Lyft. I've done on Lyft, I've done a total of 3,101 rides in 7 years. First couple of years, it was just for the fun of it on the weekends or whatever, in between job orders and stuff, work orders. Camera visibility limited, so. And on Uber, I have done, the new profile picture, 18,614 rides total. So I do by far more Uber than Lyft. Easily. And I think it's funny, Ellie in Space, she was kind of posting how all the people using her referral codes have helped her, travel everywhere, and she hasn't had to pay for supercharging because all the credit she got from all the referral codes. Yeah, I've had one person use my referral code. I'm not a big YouTube channel. I'm not always pushing it. I'm not always, throwing it out there. I don't have tons and tons and tons of followers. I don't make much money on my YouTube channel at all anyway. It's just a good place for me to throw stuff to get it off of my computer. Waiting for the next SpaceX launch is kind of dragging on here. You got the other channels out there talking, oh, look at what they did to Pad B. It's I'm not going to go crazy on one little change to a chopstick. I can't share a lot of the information I know. And that's one reason why I don't drive a lot, or don't record a lot of my drives, because some of the people I'm driving, I don't want to accidentally upload one that's like, oh, yeah, they should not have said that. I do have one video that I uploaded driving some customers where I had to cut the audio off for the last part of the drive because there was some information that should not be divulged to the public. Very interesting. And I loved him sharing it, but it's stuff that, is not for the public knowledge. And as far as I have found out, nobody else knows about it. No YouTube channels have taken a whiff of it or anything. So, and I get quite a bit. I mean, you got Starbase, Texas down here. Over 5,000 employees over there. Different engineers, you name it. I've driven people from NASA. Surprisingly, they land their jet, and I'm sitting there driving them down to SpaceX or someplace, and they flew in. So I ran into quite a few of them. Actually driven a lot of guys who work at Tesla. I've given them some of my inputs, and I've seen some of the things I mentioned show up in the car. I've also met a lot of people who work on the Starlink satellite dishes, and I have to say some of the things that I've mentioned have shown up in the dishes, in the software. And it's amazing how I'll be driving them, and they want my input. I'm telling them, and they're like, "That's a good idea." Then it shows up. I don't get any credit for it, but it's nice that they listen to other people's ideas. But that's the way the world is. These guys are trying to keep their jobs. They're trying to be useful, and if they're running into an issue where they can't think of something new, and they find something new for someone else, they're going to take credit for it themselves. That's the way it always is. I've worked for companies where I've written some software, some scripts for them, and what have you, and it's the CEO takes credit for it. Not something worth fighting over, but it's just like, yeah, you didn't write that, I did. But anyway, this will be as normal or as usual, a zero intervention drive. Would have been nice to have a deer run out in front of me or what have you, but the car would see it, it would handle it. I mean, I've had this car dodge a butterfly, a little excessive. Not on the latest build. Not that I've hit butterflies, but haven't had that pop up. In this one, the previous building, the 14.2, it did. 14.2.1. it's handled torrential downpouring rain in the previous build easily. A few rainstorms in this build as well, but not as bad as what it was a month and a half ago. I've had it slow down for a baby rabbit shooting across the road around here. So I know it would handle almost anything thrown at it. I still get the swerves in some places, avoiding these patches, thinking they might be hazardous holes and stuff. Yeah, people complain about that. But I much rather it swerve for something that it doesn't need to swerve for than not swerve for something it should have swerved for. And some people will argue, oh, the car should know the difference. Yes and no. Sometimes a person doesn't know the difference. Better safe than sorry. So we're through the speed trap town, so I am going to actually pop this back up to standard mode. As we get on here, get on the interstate. Someone asked me what mode do I always drive in. I change the modes depending on the areas. But most of the time I'm in standard. Now, when you're not in a hurry to get someone somewhere, it'd be nice to have an option to just conserve as much energy. Let's really drop back on the acceleration. Let's really take our time accelerating. Put it into Pinto mode or something like that. Because if I wanted to, I can get more range out of the battery than what it says I can get. Oh, on that note, yeah, like I was saying on this car here, I've had for a little over 6 months now. 71,196 miles. I did do a battery test a little while ago under service down here. Battery health. My battery's at 83%. Okay. You lose the range. The battery is a curve. It's not linear. It's been 83 for the last couple of tests. So it's like it's probably leveled out there. The battery test says it's going to take 18 hours to do. I've noticed it usually for me 8-9 hours. It all depends on the environment you're in, the temperature outside, etc. When I bought this Model Y, I had a 357 mile range. I am now looking at 302 mile range after 6 months. I had someone tell me, why don't you just get the dual motor, long range? Well, I know it's going to lose that range. The dual motor version was what, like 320 on the range? So I would be down around 260. For what I do, I like to have the most range as possible. And knowing how the battery would degrade, how it would degrade over time, that was my choice on going with the single motor long range with the tow option on here. Knowing that I will have, when I get to 150,000, 200,000 miles, probably about 200 miles of range. My Model 3 It's a 2018 Model 3 long range with performance boost. When I bought it, it had a 280 mile range on a full charge, just 280 miles. After 360,000 miles, my battery's at 70% capacity. I have a 202 mile range on a full charge. Original battery. Will it degrade anymore? Yeah, slowly over time. Now that I'm not driving it as much, it may degrade even more sitting there. Like any power tool, the more you use it, it seems like the longer the battery lasts. My DeWalt tools, the batteries that I don't use, that I have as backup, no, I don't want a $4.82 ride on Lyft. My DeWalt tools, the batteries that I never use, that I just leave in the drawer, those seem to die. Where the battery I'm constantly using all the time and recharging all the time seem to last longer. They are lithium batteries. You know, when it comes to the old lead acid batteries and what have you, there was something called battery memory, where the battery get used to being charged and depleted to a certain amount regularly. Lithium should not have that. That's just the way it is. So, you know, I'm not sure how long the battery's going to last on the Model 3 with it just sitting there. I do sometimes kick in the camping mode on it, let it sit in camping mode for a few days. And I do mean a few days. Just to deplete the battery and then slowly recharge it on the destination charger. Since I don't drive that anymore, I don't have full self-driving on it, and I don't drive it enough to justify putting it on it. If I have enough extra funds coming in, there's things I would like to fix in the car. I like to replace that windshield. I like to replace the top glass. That's the most expensive part, I think. I need to replace the window regulator, a couple of buttons like on the driver's side for the window controls. Not expensive repair work, and nothing major. I think the major things will be the shocks or the suspension, both front and rear. After 360,000 miles, I have had the front suspension replaced. With all the speed bumps and potholes and stuff in Brownsville, it takes a wear and tear on the suspension. The Model Y is surprisingly holding up, but I've only done 77,000 miles. Even the Model 3, I didn't have to do anything to the suspension until about 200,000 miles. Most people never drive that much in their car. They never see that many miles. And to have never done an oil change, tune-up, radiator flush, any of that to worry about. I do recommend getting the radiator, the air exchanger, whatever you want to call it, cleaned off every now and then, because it's sucking in outside air and everything. And for me, it could be sand, dirt, trash, cotton from the cotton fields, so much cotton blowing around. And it's eventually going to build up on those coils and clog them so it won't cool as well. So if you do a lot of driving, yeah, definitely get that cleaned every now and then. I do see that as an option under maintenance to schedule that for that. So, I know the first few times in the Model 3 I would go to a service center and ask them to do that, and I'll get the arguments like, it's self-cleaning, you don't need to do that. But then when I took it to another service center, they're like, yeah, it is so bad, we're just going to replace the radiator. And it wasn't much. That is out of my way. Sorry. It's a $14 ride, but it's out of my way. I'm going to turn off the lift so it quit dinging now as we pass through Harlingen here. It is now 6 a.m. Can you add me a stop to Dutch Brothers Coffee, Harlingen, Texas, please?
Sure. There's a Dutch Bros Coffee 1.6 miles away at 1601 West Harrison.
Yes, add that stop, please.
Got it. Added Dutch Bros Coffee as your stop. It's 1.9 miles away.
Okay,
3 minutes.
But you didn't add it as a stop. You removed my final destination.
Sorry about that. It looks like only Dutch Bros Coffee is set as your destination now. What was your original final spot so I can add it back after the coffee stop?
I don't know. I'll have to go back in the history and add it.
No worries. Take your time checking history. Let me know the spot when you're ready, and I'll add it after Dutch Bros.
Yeah, I know it was somewhere in Chinatown, Houston.
Got it. Searching for spots in Chinatown, Houston. Want me to suggest some...
Don't do that. I'll do that once we get done at Dutch Brothers Coffee. But, yeah, thank you for making my life a little more difficult. But have a good morning.
You're welcome. Safe travels to Dutch Bros. Have a good morning, too.
Goodbye. Now, do I need to be polite to the AI? It might have access to my bank account. Do I get upset and aggravated AI? Yeah. Do I sit there and yell at AI? Yeah, I do that sometimes. Sometimes I just let the profanities rant. You know, I'm tired, I'm frustrated, so I'm going to go ahead and just give it my 2 cents worth and call it all types of names. And sometimes it starts coming back at me. Sometimes it's very apologetic. It's humorous. I'll call it all types of names. It's entertaining. Yeah, this coffee is from yesterday. It's my choice at Dutch Brothers. I like the Kokomo, sugar-free. Does it wake me up? Not really. I have spent so many times living off of caffeine, energy drinks, and 5-hour energy that stuff doesn't seem to work on me anymore. Okay, it's early morning, and yeah. You see that the employee's motorcycle here that I have had issues with the parking before, he's now parking properly in the parking spot. He's not parking at the end like he did before. It could have, okay. Okay, it saw another. Okay, that's good. It saw a closer parking space and it's going for it. It's getting ready to back up in that parking space, and I realized there was more parking spaces up here that it can go for. That was nice. Not expected, but nice, and it's still trying to get. It's still surprising how the FSD has a little bit more issue parking than when you use the parking itself. And that is awfully far from the curb, but I will accept it. It's at least not over the line. But anyway, I'm going to go to end this here. I'm going to continue our trip after I get me a fresh coffee. Thank you. Okay, we're getting ready to get back on the road now. Let's see if we can get Ara to get the right location there. Hey, Ara, I need to head to the Chinatown Best Buy supermarket in Chinatown, Houston.
Got a few Asian supermarkets in Houston's Chinatown area along Bel Air Boulevard, like Hong Kong Food Market or Welcome Food Center, about 275 miles away. Which one? Or want me to set a route to the closest?
Is there anyone that's named Best Buy by any chance?
No Best Buy supermarket in Houston's Chinatown. Best Buy is an electronics store, not a grocery chain.
Right.
This is
It's probably a translation. Is there anything near Rochester Drive?
No Best Buy supermarket around Rochester Drive in Houston's Chinatown. Closest Asian markets like Jusco Supermarket are on Bel Air Boulevard.
Okay, let's navigate to Jusco Supermarket then.
Heading to Jusco Supermarket at 9280 Bel Air Boulevard in Houston, it's about 276 miles away, opens at 8:30 a.m. Route set.
Thank you.
Route set to Jusco Supermarket on Bel Air Boulevard in Houston.
Okay.
About 162 miles with a supercharger
goodbye.
stop in Refugio, arriving around 8:41 a.m.
Okay.
All good?
Yes, all good. What's the weather like in Houston?
Houston's around 73 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit this morning. Partly sunny with light winds from the northwest. Mild drive ahead.
What's the traffic like on the way there?
Traffic looks light this early Monday morning on US 77 toward Houston. No major delays or incidents reported from Harlingen through Refugio. Smooth sailing so far.
Do you see one there in Chinatown called the Welcome Food Center?
Yeah, Welcome Food Center at 9180 Bel Air Boulevard in Houston's Chinatown. About 276 miles. Opens at 9 a.m. Solid 4-star spot. Want to switch the route there instead?
Yes, please.
Route switch to Welcome Food Center at 9180 Bel Air Boulevard in Houston's Chinatown. 162 miles with a supercharger stop in Refugio. Arriving around 8:40 a.m. Good to go?
Yes, we are.
Great. Route to Welcome Food Center is locked in. Safe travels.
Okay.
Let me know if you need anything along the way.
No, but question for you. If I wanted to go to New York City, how many stops would I have to make from here to New York City?
From Harlingen to so around 10 to 12 supercharger stops for a Tesla from here to New York City. Long haul, about 24 hours driving.
Okay, I don't want to do that. Just go ahead and continue our existing navigation, please.
Route to Welcome Food Center is still active. No changes made. You're good to go.
Okay. Goodbye.
Safe travels to Welcome.
So we're off to our trip here. And heading on. Anyway, a like and subscribe would be nice. rest of this drive goes. Thank you.